Welcome to the Gentleman's Talk, where the podcast talks about a man's battle with mental health, his personal experiences, and his journey to be a better soul. Hosted by James Dean Littlejohn.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to the Gentleman's Talk. Hope you're okay. Hope everyone has had a good week so far. Whatever you're doing, hopefully you've been getting the maximum out of it as much as you can. Here I am, relaxed, felt compelled, jumped on, had a little chat, and just wanted to get stuck in again. And that's the importance of, doing things when you want to do things, actually putting in 100% because you want to do that activity. And for me, that's what it's all about. I don't want to force myself for anyone, really, or for anything. I want to be able to feel what I'm recording and actually understand it. And that's when quality becomes over the quantity. It's really easy to just keep stuffing things out there for people to listen to, but you soon get bored. So here I am, back, and I've got a couple of things to talk about, actually. Like I said, I've had some interesting conversations with friends and sort of family and my sort of mental health group, which sparked a few interesting conversations amongst sort of myself and all the wider audience, really. And what I was talking about earlier on, and I had a little bit of controversy in terms of the context of the last podcast, and that was more on the base that I know I spoke about abortions, and I didn't really, to be honest with you, I didn't really think I'd have to go in this deep, if I'm really honest, mainly because it was the context it should have been intended. But obviously we live in a world where it's really difficult not to offend people, and here I am trying to just look at things from a mental health point of view, a men's mental health point of view, and you do get a backlash. And it's one of those things, isn't it? There's nothing you can do about it. You just have to try and answer those questions. And that's what I'm here to do. And like I said in my last podcast, I mentioned about how, women have a right to have an abortion. And men don't really have a say in the matter. And, I sort of looked at it more from the politics side of things, really, more than the moral side of things. So my answer, my conversation and the way it's been raised has all been geared around the context of mental health and policy, not really the moral sort of substance that's involved with that. Now, I haven't really got an opinion on abortions, so I'm not really going to go into that really as much as I just really want to answer that question on my podcast and just say, I don't really, like I said, everything was coming from a politics point of view and a mental health of a man, rather than the moral aspect, really. I understand that women absolutely deserve to have the right, to have the baby, and it's up to them. It's their body, and we also talk about the other inherent problems that come with babies, and there might be a necessity to have an abortion for medical or other reasons. So I fully stand by the fact that right should be withheld with the women in that context. But what I meant was, without digressing too much, it was just about the politics of the man not really having a say when it should be a combined, these two people have procreated together in whatever form it was. They need to be held accountable for that, and they need to have accountability. But it should be a mutual respect, because one takes the other to happen. So, the mutual respect comes. The only way you remove that mutual respect is through the basis of artificial insemination. So, you're removing the other act, if you like. So, I meant it from that perspective, and I still stand by that. I still think that the politics of that aren't quite right. But that's just the world today we live in. We end up getting in some debates that we shouldn't really think that we need to get into. And I think that's what causes a lot of the anger and the frustration in the world at the moment, that we're constantly battling. Like, I didn't think I would spend 4.5 minutes of my podcast trying to explain what I meant. The context was pretty clear, because if you're listening to this, you're being guided through your mental health, and learning about yourself, maybe trying new things, and we're all working together collaboratively to be a better sort of species, if you like, get men talking, get men being open and honest, get men acting on themselves through their mental health to reduce the suicide rates. That's the foundation of what I talk about. Getting help, being open and honest. All I'm really doing along the additional bit is adding in some context of other problems, other pressures, that whilst people go on these journeys, like, you know, me, PTSD, it absolutely cripples me. And that the things that fall along with that are things like depression, because you go in and out of it. Manic depressant, I think they call it. And I go into highs and lows because the PTSD affects me. And that's like, honestly, I couldn't tell you today. I was driving home. So I went to a site visit today, and I drove up fine, you know, absolutely no problems at all. It was about, I think, 58 miles, I think it is. No, 68 miles. So it's like 68 miles. And I was going to pick up a colleague and all that sort of stuff. And you're probably thinking, like, what's all this jazz about? Why is he telling me about his fucking day? The reason being is, what is my absolute brutal, fucking most horrendous anxiety attack? What basis? That's a very foundation. I spoke 110 podcasts ago. Car crashes in rain, in the dark. Now, fortunately today, you know, I had the torrential rain on a motorway, the same motorway I had the car crashes on. I could barely fucking see in front of me. And the way my brain went into fucking fight mode again. And the next thing I know, I look down and I'm fucking speeding on a motorway that you can't see 4 feet in front of you. Wipers are going fucking batshit crazy, literally fucking coming off the hinges. And I'm fucking looking, my eyes must be fucking like space hoppers. And I'm like going down the motorway going, fucking get out the fucking way. The music's off, so I know I'm in full fight mode. And there's nothing you can do about this. And to be honest, at one point, this is how crazy my mind went today. This is why the PTSD cripples me. Is I was going along and I was actually going, right, I'm in the fast lane now. I know I can see a little bit in front of me and a little bit, and I was like, fuck it, I'm going to sit off the track. And if if you're going along the motorway, you see the little track lines where water has already been displaced by the tyre. So you know that is got less water than the bow wave aspect that's come off of the displacement. Excuse me. Oh, by the way, I'm eating absolutely stunning healthy shake. I am fully on point with this, like, fasting water healthy shit. I'm not going to categorise it any other than healthy shit, because that's what it is. But it's doing me well. I feel a little bit better, and I'm 2 days in. So, fucking hell, early doors, mate. But you know what I mean? Every day's a fucking win in my book when it comes to eating healthy. So, yeah, and anyway, so these bow waves, it creates a bow wave. And you go along and you just fucking boom along. And it makes easier driving because you're almost in a suction. Well, I was in the point where I was like, fuck it, I want to see how much spray I can fucking create. When you go into fight mode, it's really fucking crazy. Like, to the point where, because I know my adrenaline's so high, and this is giving you real time what's happened tonight, showing you that I can go from being zero to fucking hero. You know, I can go from like months and months of just not even talking about it. So here I am now. My worst time of the year for me is September all the way through till January. That's when I start progressively getting worse because the weather changes. Here we are in torrential fucking rain. You know, it was a week ago we were talking about national fucking hosepipe bans. We're crippled. This is going to fucking absolutely ruin us for decades to come. You know, there's all sorts going on. You know, this is literally gonna draw up fucking the plague because it's so dry. The plague's gonna crawl out. You know, that's almost like the scaremongering tactics of the fucking nation at the moment. So, and here we are a week later, literally fucking flooding it down. Like they're clearing the floodplains so they can make sure they can get maximum water in it. You're like, fucking hell, mate. We've got excess water now. It's crazy shit. So this is why I don't watch the fucking news. Anyway, so I get to this point of the year and I struggle. And this was my first day today. I was going along the motorway, but then when I go into fight mode, it's not flight mode. You know, I'm not running, because the running aspect of flight for me would be, you know, I'd pull off the motorway and just fucking calm down. I don't do that. I go into adrenaline mode. I go into, I'm going to fucking see how fast I can go, because the faster I get through it, the better. My fucking wipers are absolutely fucking screaming Bloody Mary at me. You know, and I'm just fucking, my eyes are like space hoppers, and I'm in an automatic, big Audi A6, so I know I've got a bit of weight, and then I'm coming off the fucking bow wave into the thicker wave, and you actually feel it on the tyre going up, and then you can almost hear the tyres working to go, you've given me, like, I was driving through what can be perceived as a fucking puddle, now you've got me running through a fucking river, mate. What do you want me to do? And that's what I do. I go like that, and I just went fucking booming, and I only calmed down. And the thing is, I think that because I'm more aware now of my sort of kind of mental state, I'm kind of quite aware. I can't control it fully. I still go into that fight mode. I still go into that fucking let's have it. I control it respectfully, but what I'm talking about is if I'm put into a situation, it does happen quite quickly. It's not really a switch that goes on and off. And, you know, for me, that's kind of, it's quite scary still. But what I do know is when I do these things and when I calm down, I quite instantly acknowledge that that's happened. I go, fucking hell, James. And again, this is like where it all comes into play. Okay, this is where everything, and I did a little bit of a review last time, and this is where it all kind of comes into play. This is kind of the step by step. So I was in fight, I was fucking nailing it down the motorway, pissing water out everywhere, and I'm fucking screaming Bloody Mary. Music's off, so I want pure silence, almost like a fucking psychopath. It's what it felt like. And then you come in and you just fucking cruise, you know, dissipates, and you go into calm roads because you've gone through the mini storm. You know, you've come the other side, so it's a bit calmer. It's almost like that scene, isn't it, in fucking Roger Rabbit at the end, where they're in that dingy fucking warehouse, and they've just poured that green shit. What's it called? Dip. That's it. Dip. You know, the fucking kills the Looney Tunes. And then when they smash through the end and that fucking, all the colour is there. Do you remember? They smash through the wall and then the fucking train goes past and Mickey and all that sort of shit. Because that's the real, they signed it over, didn't they? Signed the deeds over on that fucking scrappy bit of paper. Anyway, I've given you the Roger Rabbit. Watch it. If you haven't seen it, you're a fucking absolute tool and you need to watch it. But it's amazing. If you haven't watched it, which I suppose if you're young, maybe you've not. But Jessica Rabbit is all I'm going to say, mate. You know, fucking Jessica Rabbit. Leave it at that. You know what I mean? So I go into that. So it's this time of year where I kind of struggle. But anyway, I got through the other side. And, you know, I fucking, the rain dissipated, and then I came through, the sun's beaming, and it's a nice clear road. And I calmed down, and then all of a sudden, I literally do this in almost sequence. And I can feel myself, I was nailing it along in the dry, and then I was like, and then all of a sudden I felt the pressure release off my foot. And this is where reflection comes in. This is why we reflect all the time, because our body constantly then, like my brain constantly reflects on everything. So I get to quickly analyse. So if anything, I'm sharpening my brain up a bit, which is fantastic. And this is real time why. So I felt the pressure coming off the pedal, you know, and I almost felt, and I dropped into the inside lane. I'd calmed down. People went by me, the music went back up, the window went back down, and I fucking stayed calm. And then I sat there in the car going, fucking hell, is the heated seat on? No, it wasn't. I was on fire. I was not literally. I mean, fucking, you're not in a field on your fucking roof, mate. You're literally on fucking fire. Not the imaginary fire in Talladega Nights either. Anyway, it's movie night tonight. Obviously. But yeah, I've got Talladega Nights in my head now. And I was fucking burning up. My fucking ass was sweating, and I was on leather seats, and I'm a hot person anyway, and I don't mean, you know, I mean, I'm like, my skin is hot. And, yeah, so it kind of, I just felt a bit, that was the adrenaline. And then, so what I did is I sat down and I turned the music down, and this is all happening in sequence along the motorway. I turned the music down a little bit so I could start thinking. And then I thought about that what had just happened, and I was like, fucking hell, you just did this. What the fuck are you doing? And then it was obviously the panic. It was the anxiety of going into this situation. I wanted to get the fuck out of it. And there's not much you can do. I'm commuting at this time of the year, so there is much I can do. I'm not going to be commuting by car. I'm going to get train everywhere. But that's what affected me. That's what was like. And then I analysed it and I evaluated it, and I was like, fucking hell, that was crazy. And then I was exhausted then because my adrenaline had gone through the fucking roof. And I was like, and that all happened over one event. And this is just PTSD. This is just one aspect of it. And that's where, you've got to really manage yourself. So it's so important that you manage yourself and you constantly look after yourself, because, we all make mistakes in life. We all do things we shouldn't do. We all make mistakes. It's as simple as that. We're human beings at the end of the day. But by looking after yourself, everything just seems to get reduced. Like I said, I reflect a lot easier, and I reflect a lot about my day. Like I even know, like I said, even the last podcast, I reflect on the whole podcast. That made me rethink the start of this podcast to go, I need to just explain, because I didn't want to come across. Now again, we're talking about society. We're talking about how we perceive men, and all this sort of stuff. And it's crazy how, men are perceived in such a negative way that even by saying that, there was somebody willing to chuck a fucking, a side note into what I was doing as a debatable topic in something I talk about. And that's the world we live in. So you're constantly facing challenges, like I am today, like I did today with the PTSD coming back and the anxiety. That's a challenge I didn't think I was going to face. I didn't wake up this morning and go, fucking hell. I think I'm going to have a fucking, a bit of a near miss on the motorway. And that's really the kind of the challenges. And I keep talking about reflecting and trying to reduce them. Also, by reflecting on things, you analyze it, you process it as it happens, you don't dwell on it. And then what you do is you move on from it and you learn from it. If you constantly do that with every single part of you, every single aspect of you, you'll be, you will get further. And it's even like, I haven't told anyone, but I sat an interview last week, and deep down it's absolutely crippled me that I didn't get it, because I thought I deserved it. And it was purely because I've got a lot of things going on my mind. So I had a missed opportunity, but at the same time, I've tried to spin a good light on it. Has it affected me? Yeah, it's a challenge I didn't expect. I was very confident because I displayed in my organisation that I was more than capable of doing the job. I had a CV that was fucking extensive. I've got a qualification list that's extensive. I have presented myself to the person that was interviewing me for 6 months, and I liaised and I was open. I've done everything I can to get to a point where I should have been promoted. And because of a little bit of politics and a little bit of the organisation, I was put second. And also, on the day, I had so much going on in the interview, so I'm upset with myself that I didn't give it 110%. I mean, I failed on not giving leadership, and it's literally, leadership is all I'm about. It's literally that if you were going to fucking define me, if I was someone to say, what is James? I would say I'm a leader and a protector. That's what I would say I am. That's what I like doing. That's what I enjoy. So when I'm not doing it, I'm kicking myself because, and I had a long conversation with my friend about this, Kieran, when he came round, and he was like, no, look at it for the better, you need to slow down. And I know for a fact, if and when he listens to this, he'd be like, yeah, and I'll be like, no, it devastated me, because I know I can do the job, with my eyes fucking closed, and that's what upset me. And I know it's almost as if when she said my leadership, because I thought I presented myself on the day quite well. I'd set myself up, I'd had all my sort of ideas, I came across with some really relatable subjects that I've endured as a leader and come out the other side. I've led teams that have done massive anniversary one-off paint schemes for the Royal Air Force, the key stakeholder, you know. And it's kind of, when you come across like that and you think to yourself, I don't know what else I could have done. And it's the politics around why you didn't. But that doesn't sit well with me then. I get devastated. And still now I'm churning about it. I'm reflecting to try and move past it. And I constantly reflect daily, don't worry about it. But I know I find myself on the walk. This morning I was with my dog and I was like, what could I have said? And I'm going over leadership qualities to go, well, I didn't say that. Did I say that? I should have said that. Fucking hell, James. So, this is where it can consume you if you are this way inclined. And I am. I'm sort of kind of driven and fed by learning, by moving forward, by leading, by protecting people, by nurturing people. These are all key words that I use to describe who I am and what I am. And when I can't do that, I get very frustrated. I get very down because I like to do those things. And I don't feel I've got a grasp of those in my own home because I'm a very small minority. I'm the man of the house. But nowadays, you're not the man of the house. The woman is. So, that's not a bad thing. But then there's a lot going on in my house that doesn't move forward because I don't want to get involved. Because I know that it's not how I do things. And that's the house move and all that sort of stuff. I'm sat there stressing to fuck about that, and I've left it for two women to deal with, and I'm not meaning it a negative, but they're very shy. They're very like, yeah, should we get the paperwork in, and I'm sort of kind of gone, no, that's not how and we've been ignored for 2.5 weeks now. In a male's terms, that means fuck off. In a female's terms, that means she's got problems or she's got things to deal with. And I go, no, we need to get the paperwork in. We said the 5th, it's now the fucking 7th. 6th, almost the 7th, and it's still not done, and we've still not heard anything from the 5 messages we've sent. And the woman's aspect is, maybe she needs a bit of time. Well, no. And the man aspect of me, I've got two here. I've got two little fucking key parts. I'm like, one part of me is going, well, I know kind of why she's being a bit like that, but at the same time, you have to have an element of, moving forward and helping and dealing with it. And it is a mental health thing. And I get that. So I was fully on board with it, which is why I gave 2 weeks grace. But it's got to the point now where it stresses me out. And I don't do business like that. I go in, get it done, get out. I'm not interested in the fluffy shit. I don't want cuddles and kisses. I don't want fucking any of that shit. Just literally, I am straight down the line. It's go in, fucking do it. And I like that with work. Go in. Why is it not done? You're a fucking dickhead. Get it fucking done, move out, job done, don't do it again. That's how I work, because I just don't see the point in labouring on nurturing people through mollycoddling them, not nurturing them, mollycoddling them through. There's a way you train them, you give them all the skills, you do everything you can, and then you've got that ability to go in, and that's how I like business done. I like business to just go, you're up to board, you crack on, do what you got to do. And that's how I run it, but there's a mollycoddle phase at the moment, and I find that really stressful for me because I like shit, especially as I know it's such a big thing as well. So anyway, this is where we talk about challenges, and this is where we talk about the challenges that we don't know we're going to face. So not only if you're facing those challenges that are unexpected, and like I said, I didn't expect my challenges. I've woken up some mornings in the last few weeks, I can fucking tell you now, I did not expect to get the fucking challenge that's been chucked in front of me, as well as, I talk about the job and I say, well, if you knew the challenge that I just faced, my interview was on the day that it was a big day for the family, so it was, I had a lot consuming me, and I suppose negatively assumed I'd got the job because I'd already presented and done everything. But I didn't face the challenge of the organisation having a different outlook for me. That's hard. It's a hard pill to swallow. But these are challenges we don't fucking know we're going to face. So if we can control the challenges that we know we're going to face, that's when it becomes better. That's when life becomes better, because we can face the challenges of not getting enough sleep. We go to bed earlier. We look after ourselves. We can face the challenge of eating healthily. If your mindset is ready to go for it. Get yourself eating healthy. And if your mindset is on, drinking less alcohol, the list goes on. If you challenge yourself with stuff that you can control, yes, and you make a routine, and we talk about the routine, it doesn't become routine until you do it for 3 months, So you've got to do it regular for 3 months for it to become a learned habit, a routine learned habit. And that's where I talk about my reflection now is constant to the point, like I say, to the point, boing, boing, like a fucking ping pong there. To the point where I naturally reflect now. It's a subconscious thing now. I naturally already do it. I start reflecting, and it's almost like an automatic sequence that cuts in, and I go, and then almost to the point where it's hard to describe, but I almost pull myself away from things to go and acknowledge it, understand it. Yeah, maybe I was a bit of a dick there. And then I go back in, and if I need to say sorry, I say fucking sorry. If I don't need to say sorry, I won't say sorry. So I analyse it, and I almost do it in a subconscious routine now. And I like to say, every time I go for a walk with my dog, we've got a routine. He picks up his ball, we go for a walk, I let his lead off at a certain point. I know the 2 areas he's going to poop, and I know when I can start talking to my mates in the morning on my WhatsApp. I've got a certain location, and then I've got a certain point where I put the poo bag in, and then the last bit of the walk is just about me to reflect, and that's about 4 minutes long. That's what I get, routine every day. So routine, that's how structured I am, okay? That's to the point where I know exactly what I'm doing, at what point, roughly what time. It's crazy. I'm very, very focused like that. I know everything. So when I know I haven't done something, I feel a bit awkward. And sometimes though, and this is where I kind of going to sort of slowly progress into what I want to talk about, he says, as he's just junted on for a while, is these challenges. And when we can control those challenges, we have a better life. We have a better outcome because we have more energy to fight the challenges that we don't see coming. You know, you're coming in and your boss tells you to do something you fucking didn't know was coming your way, or whatever. You know, you get a curveball from your fucking family, or whatever. You get a curveball from your whoever. I don't care. If you get a curveball and you think, shit, that has absolutely hoofed me in the nuts, popped them out, fucking, I'm spitting balls. Once you're at that point and you know that, you know, you've got to control this, that's when if you're not looking after yourself, if you're not taking care of the easy challenges of life, and I say challenges using them loosely, if you don't take care of those ones that kick you in the nuts are going to be the ones that tip you over the edge. And that's where we start progressing into, you know, depression, stress. Well, not even depression. It will start with stress. And you'll stress yourself out so much that you'll start triggering like anxiety, and then that becomes an anxiety attack. You then get sad by it because you're thinking, fuck, this is constantly happening. What the fuck? You start getting sad. Then you break into the depression stage, and then you go from depression, and then you get severe fucking problems because that reduces your life, and then that depression, you know, can build into other things, other areas, violence, drugs, alcohol. We talk about that. You know, we talk about pushing yourself away from everybody, and it turns into ultimately potentially becoming one of those fucking statistics that I talk about all the time. And we don't want to. That's what we're trying to avoid. We're trying to stay away from that. And believe it or not, as you rewind back and go and rewind back to a certain point, press fucking play. I'm talking from the 80s here on the tape cassette player. Once you get to that point and we talk about what we just said, that's where I said those big fucking ball kickers, they're not going to do anything bad to you because you'll have the energy, the resources to manage that because you've looked after the things you can control. Don't drink alcohol. Get better sleep. Yoga, meditation, reflection, fucking cold showers. You know, I'm spitting them out here. I'm spitting bars. I mean, fucking hell, Eminem would be fucking so impressed. That is what your ultimately goal is. So when you manage those eating healthy, feeling good about yourself, get a bit of exercise, you know, get a hobby. When you do those things, bada bish, fucking bada boom, bada bosh, you've got it because you'll have the energy and resources to manage the tough ones. And then guess what? We break into a tree branch then, and we fucking grow even further. So now we've got our things under control. Our little things under control. We now got these big things. Guess what, guys? Guess fucking what? We now break into our friends. So we've nurtured these friends. So we're going to olive branch off to our friends. We're going to talk to our friends. So here we go. We're now talking to our friends. All right, buddy. I'm having a bit of a fucking shit time. Oh, are you? Yeah. Fucking job. Chat. You'll either get a resolution, maybe get some advice. But ultimately, the key part of this is you will get Support. You will get that. You will get somebody that's acknowledging you. They're a true friend and they know that you're not very fucking well. But a problem halved is a problem shared. Okay, it's an old fucking saying. But a problem halved is a problem shared. And that's why we share. What we don't do as men is we snap that fucking branch off and we just go, big kicker in the dick. If you've been managing your, your well-being stuff, at the stuff we can control, then okay, there might be a potential that you'll battle that big kick in the nuts. But you know what it's going to do? It's going to take an element of your power away. It's going to take an element of your fucking, well, your youth for starts, because you're going to give yourself stress. So you're already aging yourself. You're putting stress on your fucking heart. You're putting stress on your fucking brain. You'll slowly whittle yourself down. And then what you'll do is you'll go back into that safe zone. But when you go back into that safe zone, when you went into that nut kicker, you were 100%. You've gone back into that safe zone, and now you're only 93%. But that 93% has been taken away for life. It's gone. You're not going to get that back. So what you're now sat is your full percentage is 93%. So guess what? We know what's going to happen. The nut kicker comes because, Christ almighty, we fucking get them daily. They might be short ones. You might jump into that space for a little bit of stress at work that takes 1% off. And all right, I've gone back to 92%. Oh, that's not too fucking bad. That's still in the 90s. I'm happy. And then you jump in and something fucking big happens. You know, you have a relationship split up, or, fucking whatever. It could be anything. We all know. Something, it happens to your children. Something happens to your fucking parents. Something happens to your friends, whatever, family, loved ones. You're like me. You had fucking car crashes, and we talk about that. My dad didn't expect that. And I remember him running down that road, and I remember being sat in the car, fucking adrenaline was high. And I remember him looking in the fucking door at me, and I'd never seen anybody so, genuinely fucking concerned. Genuinely. Now, that was stress that he didn't anticipate ever, was thinking that in my first car crash, he was going to be fucking running down the road, because it was just not far from his work, running down the road, knowing his fucking son has fucking crashed, seeing the fucking fully laden fuel lorry, another car in the fucking ditch, and mine splitting fucking half down the middle of this, in between this truck. If you looked at it from the angle coming down the road, you'd have gone, he's not fucking going to survive that if he's hit that fucking truck. It's obvious. The truck was in fucking tatters. He walked past the truck, and there was, all you could see was fucking, the nurse who hit me crying. The truck driver, full fucking grown man, crying his eyes out because he thinks I'm dead. He's hearing that whilst I'm in the fucking car with a first responder waiting to get me out of this car. And he fucking comes in and he looks at me. Excuse me. And says, "Are you okay?" And I was like, yeah, I'm all right. The adrenaline was high for me at that time. But he didn't expect that stress. Now, that taken a percentage off of his fucking life. And he's already in his fucking late 60s at the time. And here I am chipping away at those things. So that's what happens. You constantly chip away. But guess what? There's a fucking little bit of a relief here. Now, say, for instance, we've gone into that stress zone. Fucking hell, we're watching our stress rise and we're seeing ourselves deplete a little bit. Fucking hell. What are we going to do? Guess what? Stop the depletion, talk to your friend. Now you're 2-on-1. Now you're 3-on-1. Now you're 4-on-1. Now we're talking gangbang territory. Yeah? If you look at it in that context. All right? That's what we're talking about here. We're going into that realm. We're getting more people. The more people we nurture, the right people that are around us, the right people, the ones that care for you, the ones that look after you, the one that message you. When you don't message, they say, "Are you okay?" If they know something about you and they know that they need to fucking message you, they're the friends, the ones that message you saying, "Are you okay?" They're the ones. They're the people. Or when you come round, they, shower you with fucking love, gifts and fun. They're your friends. They're the ones that you nurture. Well, guess what? You've sprung fucking not one branch, because you're not talking to one person. I'm lucky. I've got a nice few branches on mine, so I'm very lucky. So I'm talking to a few people. So guess what? Because I'm spreading out the fucking load, I'm spreading everything out, I'm talking to people about different things, different scenarios. I've each got a friend that has a different type of relationship with me, in the sense that, you know, they might be just have a bit of fun with. Kieran I've known for 29 fucking years, and he knows everything about me. I can talk about anything to him. Well, to be fair, with men, we don't really have a line in terms of what we talk about. So talking about subjects is never really a problem with men. I think that's the good aspect. When men do talk, anything's a go. You know, you don't really fucking care. You could literally walk in and go, well, no, I don't know. I probably would, because I'm a fucking man, but... You know, someone walked in and fucking said, "Oh, I've got a wonky knob. He's bent his knob doing something." You know, you think, is that right? You probably look and go, "Well, I've seen some porns, mate, but it doesn't look normal, and it ain't like mine." So, you know what I mean? And we talk about that all the time, you know. But I'm saying that's the extreme version, the extremity of it all. I don't know why I went there, but I think it's because, you know, I suppose I was raised in the fucking in the military, so, you know, with communal showers, no one gives you know, it's literally like you get used to that, you just don't care. And especially sports in my days in the fucking 90s, you know, you were communal showers then in the 90s. So I was raised and fucking went through training on communal showers and communal living. So I don't really have a standard, you know. There's not much you haven't seen as a soldier, I can tell you that. Anyway, digression, as we say. But that's what I'm talking about. We were talking about that ability to have the branches. The branches take away the load. They also draw in more sunlight because you've got more leaves. We're talking about photosynthesis. What a fucking educational piece today is. It's a right fucking peach delight, isn't it? Talking about photosynthesis. They're turning that into oxygen. It's helping you breathe. Fucking here we go. It's pulling out all the toxic shit, carbon dioxide, fucking processing it through photosynthesis and the leaves and all the other good stuff, and releasing it as oxygen. Do you see what I mean? So that is what you can. That's how we'll call it the. I don't know, the fucking. I can't call it the tree of life, because that's really something. But you could equate it. You could equate it to the men's mental health version of the tree of life, you know. You have your fucking branches, life, you know, you have your fucking stalk, you know, your big fucking, your trunk, that's the one I'm looking at. Your trunk, that's life. And you've got your branches that come off, your family, your friends, and all that sort of stuff, you know. But the more friends you've got, the more branches you've got, but the right branches, you know, you wouldn't mix a fucking birch with a fucking elm. Do you know what I'm saying? You can, I don't know, probably someone has crossbred it. But you see, when you're with the right fucking... And you got to have the right... Also, you've got to have the right tree in the right environment to do the right things, you know? So certain trees grow better in certain locations, you know? Like fucking palm trees. You don't see many palm trees in Britain, do you? I mean, you do. There's a variation of them, but not many. Not as much as you would see in the desert. Do you know what I mean? Whatever. It's probably a bad example, but I don't really know fucking trees that well. I am not a fucking tree hugger. I'm spitballing this shit. So, but it's pretty factual, because I like to learn. So you kind of, you see what I mean? You're kind of looking at, everything's got to be in the right situation, and it's no different to fucking life. We look at the world needs to be in the right situation. We're in a fucking shit state at the moment. We are in absolute climate fucking crisis, according to fucking, you know, government. You know, it's absolutely devastating. Greta Thunberg's fucking kicking off. She is fucking booting off. Big style. She ain't fucking around. She wants to take on the world to fucking save the world. So we're in a shit place because we fucked it up. We're a virus. You know, anyway, I'm digressing here massively about world fucking politics and fucking hell, crazy shit. But, so, challenges. Okay, so we'll talk about challenges. Why have I mentioned challenges so much? So I was reading this little piece, this little article, this little piece of words. I was doing a bit of research. And they were saying that, I don't know if you recall, I say recall like it doesn't happen, but I don't know if it happens anymore. We used to do this thing called New Year's resolution. I don't know whether people still do it anymore. I stopped doing it absolute years ago because I realised it could not be fucking done. It was a crock of bullshit. It was just an excuse to fucking talk bollocks at fucking 12 o'clock. That's what I used to. What's your New Year's resolution? And for the next day, it was almost like I've fucking endured family for like almost a week. I'm fucked off with seeing relatives. I'm fucked off with seeing people. What else can we talk about? What are you going to do for the next year? And it was kind of that as if to say, I'm not going to probably see you now till next year. So when I see you next year, at the start of the fucking Christmas period, I go, did you do your New Year's resolution? Well, no, Dave, because I said I'm not going to lose weight and I've put on 5 fucking stone. So no, my resolution did not fucking work. And then a week goes by, you're completely fucking cheesed off with this guy, and the guy says to you, what's your New Year's resolution? You know what, Dave? You know what, Dave? I'm going to fucking do it this year. This is my fucking year, Dave. I'm doing it. Do you know what I mean? And that's what it is. And it's like, I'm proud of you, Dave. Have a fucking shot. Have a shot for that, Dave. And then you wake up next morning and you fucking do a week of the gym, and then you think, fuck this. I fucking prefer cake, mate. If you make me order food and I go to the restaurant, and if I order cake first and they look at me, I go, I'm a fucking grown adult, mate. If I don't want fucking savoury, there's no reason I can't have 2 desserts. Yeah, that's what I choose to fucking eat. You don't judge me. I like 2 desserts. I'm a fucking adult, all right? So, New Year's resolutions for me do not fucking work. They are complete and utter fucking tosh. And another word, we used to say they were like a New Year's decision. What do you decide? It used to be like, how many resolutions you got? Oh, I got like fucking 20, Dave. Fucking hell, mate. You can't even keep 1 on a normal year. No, but if I do more, and I only like do 1 of like 12, then, you know, or say 1 of 10, I've done 10%. That's more than I did last year, Dave, because now I've done 10%. So that's how it works. That's how we do this. You add more. So when you don't achieve all of them, but someone says, did you do them? No, Dave, I didn't do as well as I hoped. But what I did do, I did 10%. Oh, fucking hell, Dave, I am so fucking proud of you, mate. You did 10%, Dave. So you did 1 resolution. What was that resolution you did, mate? Well, the resolution was, I was going to make sure that I turned the skybox on standby to save electricity. That was what it was. And then, instead of that, fucking our local government came online, told me, if I buy a new kettle for £20, I can fucking save £10 a year. So, I'm a fucking millionaire in 5 at least, minimum. Do you see what I'm saying? They're the bollocks, the tosh that comes out of New Year's resolutions. So, a decision is kind of like, it's just if you make a decision or a resolution, you know, the resolution should just be, I'm going to eat healthy. You don't need to tie it to a day. You just need to look at yourself and go, I'm fucking fat, or I'm an alcoholic, or I really need to lay off the fucking drugs. Whatever. You need to make that fucking call. You need to go, I'm going to make myself better. Like I did in January. I said, I'm fucking sick to death of this. I'm sick to death of constantly battling my mental health. I'm sick to death of constantly fucking thinking I don't want to be here anymore. I don't want to fucking... I want to get out of this black pool of shit. And it's taken me a long time. It's taken me 8 months to get to a point where I feel more confident. And it was never going to happen overnight. And I know I've got more challenges to go because I'm not even off the medication yet. So for me, the medication, when I come off of that, is almost like going back to day 0, because I'm going to have to train my brain to start producing serotonin and all that without the aid of a tablet. Do you see what I mean? I'm going to have to get my body to do the chemical reaction again. So how do I do that? Well, I do that by doing what I've been doing, reflecting, looking after myself, eating healthy, drinking fucking water, going for walks, meditating, fucking, you know... By doing all of those, I'm making myself better, stronger, so that I can face these big challenges. And then these big challenges are fucking half-quartered, whatever, by my friends either coming along with me or talking about it and listening and nurturing those things. That's what it's about. That's the whole journey. So for me, a resolution's it's rare as rocking or shit that you'll complete that resolution, because you give it a year timeline. I mean, if you're going to complete a fucking master's degree that's normally 4 years in a year, I'd be like, fucking hell, that's impressive. Fair play. That's a good target. It's a very ambitious target. I probably would have said it at 18 months to 2 years. But we do things differently. So that to me is, is an achievable. So you always set a New Year's resolution. I'm going to quit smoking by the end of January. Fucking no, you're not. You're absolutely not. You've been smoking fucking Joanne, you've been smoking fucking 60 a day for the last fucking 40, 50 years, love. You're not quitting in a month, sweetheart. I can fucking guarantee you that. So you set yourself unrealistic goals. It's not managed properly. It's not how we do. We've learned in life that we need to manage things better. We've kind of all gone fast and loose like the fucking OK Corral with our mental health, well-being and ambitions. We're kind of all fucking shooting off fucking Smith and Westons outside the fucking pub. You know what I mean? And it's almost, doesn't it almost feel like the country's ready for a Wild West era at the moment? We've kind of... the government's failing, so the sheriff basically is given up, or whatever, or the actual, the fucking bigwigs that come in, and the sheriff, the police, they're fucking overrun now. Do you know what I mean? They're because they've been depleted now. So there's normally like a sheriff and a deputy in there. Well, that's almost like our fucking whole British fucking police force. The firefighters are going on fucking strike because they're not getting paid because they've been offered 2%, and you kind of, it almost feels like a fucking Western, doesn't it? It almost feels like that's going to go that way. So it's absolutely imperative, really, that we move away from these unrealistic fucking challenges, targets and resolutions. And do you know what? I want to give you, this is all been encased really in something that I've been doing for about 2 years, and it absolutely fucking helps me. No end. And once you start going back and you've got your good shit in order, you're doing your good stuff, you've got your good fucking friends, you've nurtured that, you've whittled it down to the right fucking people. When you're taking on these big fucking problems, these big challenges, you've got the right people around you. So now, every time you go back into your normal zone, you're not dropping back and losing loads of fucking energy, you're not depleting to the point where you're not going down to 92, you're going down to like 99.9% recurring. You've lost a small smidge because you've got all these good fucking things around you. You're promoting positivity, you're in the right job, you're looking after yourself. And then basically all that fucking brings that, once you've done that, you've now got excess energy, you've got excess time because you're looking after yourself. So you've got a little bit of time. And this is where that time for me has been taken up and by challenging myself. So, and this is what I want to talk about really. I want people to start challenging themselves. Set yourself a challenge, because if you're not challenging yourself, what I found is I used to believe that fucking stay with an organisation, one organisation all your life, work your way through, fucking rah, 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 loyalty. And I've since discovered, and there'll be people saying, fucking hell, you've only discovered that now. That's not a way to do business, because loyalty never ever comes from the organisation. They will drop you like a hat if they need to. They will fuck you over with wages if they need to. So you need to, unless you find the right organisation that's absolutely going to look after you, you're not going to be there. So you need to challenge yourself. So you need to keep progressing through life. You need to keep moving forward. And by that I mean, with this excess time, start challenging yourself to learn new skills, learn new hobbies, take up a new activity, challenge yourself to take on a degree, take on your next qualification, speak to your organisation and get some out of them and say to them, I want to learn this. This is going to help benefit the organisation and me personally. So you can become an asset then that can walk in and go and challenge them. Right, I've done this learning. I'm showing more than my worth now. Where do we go from here? Do you pay me more money? Do you promote me? Do you move me to another department? Have you got something else for me? If not, I need to go somewhere else with my new skills, because you can't feed the habit. You can't move forward, and you need to get more challenges. Or, hopefully it has a nice outcome. And I know that's a bit negative towards the organisations, if you like. But I'm talking big organisations. I know this is more difficult. And I think the more you go down in your scales of businesses, you put it into context. Do you know what I mean? So there's obviously, I'm talking from experience myself. This is what I do. I challenge myself to educate myself. I challenge myself to learn and progress and advance through my work. I absolutely thrive on it. I thrive on being a leader. So I'm chasing that leadership role that fills that void of emptiness that I have at the moment, and that's what I do. I'm kind of so focused at the moment. I'm trying to find an avenue where when I wake up in the morning, I'm fucking excited and ready for the day. I just want that, so I'm kind of keep searching for it, and it's a dangerous thing, but at the same time, it keeps my adrenaline. But find what works for you to be in a challenge, and it might be something as simple that And this is where I kind of tie this into looking after yourself. The challenge might be that you go to therapy. The challenge might be that you will go out and get exercise. Don't put a timeline on it. Don't put a year on it. Don't put a resolution on it. Put yourself a challenge, but set the challenge so it's achievable and it's maintainable and it has a good success rate. Challenge yourself properly. Actually find something that you're going to do. If that means I'm going to challenge myself to walk 15 minutes today, or 3 days a week, sorry. I'm going to challenge myself to walk 15 minutes to 3 times a week. It could be as basic as that. It could be as basic as starting your challenges off with, I'm not going to eat a fucking packet of crisps Monday to Friday. I'm just going to eat it on Saturday and Sunday. You'll find how easy that is, and it'll get to the point where you'll cut it out even less because you'll see the success rate is hit. And that's what you need. We're human beings. We work on reward. Reward boosts our serotonin. It boosts our adrenaline. When you get rewarded, if you ever get rewarded, there's all levels of rewarding. You can pat someone on the back and say, well done. That's a good reward. That's a personal gesture. That's a well done. That person, all right, it's not it's not an emotional gift or a physical gift or anything like that. But what it is an emotional gift. But what you're doing is you're boosting that person. You're letting them know they're doing a good job. It's constantly. That's what you need to do. We all need to. Otherwise, you just get disengaged because you're like, I'm not getting fuck all out of these people. I'm not getting nothing back, and you get disengagement. So set yourself challenges. And like I said, it might just be, I'm going to go and get some CBT therapy, cognitive behavior therapy. I'm going to go and get it. I'm going to save for a couple of months. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pay for private lessons. I'm going to have 2 or 3 and see what I get out of it. You may even go, I'm going to challenge myself to go to the doctors and raise my issue. It may be, I'm going to challenge myself to talk to my friend and be more open and honest. I sat today actually, and I'm an extremely honest person. I'm probably too honest for my own good, and I don't know. It's difficult, but you know where you stand with me. Put it that fucking way. If you fuck me off, I'll just tell you. And it's a difficult trait to have because I never used to be as honest as I have been, the last few years. But I just think that it saves any of the bullshit for me. So I'm kind of open and honest. I just kind of say it as it is. And I was in this meeting today, and I said, and it was to do with my boss, and I remember my colleague turned around to me. He said, "Did you really say that?" And it wasn't nothing derogatory, but it's not the sort of thing you would have said to somebody. It would have been the sort of things you probably hope that they understood. Men don't. And what it was he said that it was my boss, basically, your new boss. He's the one that's taken over. And he said to me, he asked me in the car, we were driving in this morning, and he asked me, he said, how do you think, I said to him, how do you think you'll do, sorry? And he said, well, I'm not really sure. And he said, what do you think? And I said, well, I think you'll struggle with the politics of the organisation. Absolutely think you will, because of where you've come from in your background. And that's not a negative, but he's come from outside industry, if you like. And I said, you will probably struggle with the politics, but I said, you won't struggle with the job. You know the job inside out. I will follow you anywhere when it comes to the job. I said, but I just think that you might clash because of your outside industry ways over a sort of kind of, a proper procedure goes. It's almost, you can't say things in the organisation. You've got to be very delicate how you deal with things. And my colleague said, did you say that? And I was like, well, yeah, I'm just an honest person. I think that's what's going to happen. I would probably said if I was going to go in, I'd probably struggle initially with the paperwork side of things. I wouldn't struggle with leadership, but I wouldn't struggle with the etiquette or anything like that because I know how I'm ex-military and, I've got those skills that I've had for 21 years on how to operate in this industry. So that goes a long way in some cases, not according to fucking interviews, but there you go. I'm just an honest person. I just think it saves any of the bullshit if you're just open and honest and just go fucking all in and just say, fantastic. That at least I know where I stand with him. If I think you're a fucking cock, I'll say you're being a cock, mate. And I think it's I wouldn't ever put it in a difficult context. I wouldn't put it in a horrible context because I'm not that way inclined. But it's each audience. Pay to each audience. And just kind of crack on with that. But like I said, So set yourself, set yourself the challenge. So rather than a resolution, I want you to start setting challenges. And like I said, I've given you a whole plethora of ideas and what I've been doing and how important nurturing these branches and to look after the trunk to keep it alive, feeding oxygen. It all works. It's all that tree of mental health, isn't it? And it all just works. It just feeds into each other. And I think that, for me, is kind of the whole basis of this. And like I said, I'm still dealing with big fucking ball problems today. Got kicked in the nuts. Haven't spoke to anyone, but I've spoke on here, and I think that's what's kind of probably inspired me to talk tonight. Actually, was the fact I needed to get this aspect out, and obviously it was playing on my mind a little bit with regards to the last podcast. You know, I apologise. There was no hurt intended. It was just the context of what I talk about, and again, that's just me being open and honest. So hopefully you've got a little bit out of this. I certainly did myself. I really enjoy talking about this because it does work. I challenge myself to learn, and when I learn, I feel stronger. I feel more invigorated. I feel stronger. You know, once I challenge myself to learn more, and if you ask any fucking body that knows me, I'm on a course most weeks. I'm doing something, you know. There's not much I haven't done in the last fucking 2 years, you know, right down to dog physiotherapy, canine physiotherapy. I learnt that. I learnt Reiki healing for animals. And believe it or not, I use it all the time on my dogs, it's Reiki spiritual healing. And I massage their, they've got a certain spot in their neck and all this sort of stuff. And it's really like the dogs, it's really good because it helps them to relax. They're not just pets that you boulder around and beat the crap out of, you know, not literally beat the crap out of, you know, we're not footballers. But yeah, so for me personally, I think it's all about sort of kind of, you know, managing it. And this all brings us round, and it brings us round to now. Here I am 9 months giving you more advice on how to challenge yourself to maybe go, I'm going to do this to get out into this job. I'm going to do this course to progress to this fucking place. Or, you know, I'm going to look to move to here and find out what it takes. I'm going to save for this. Or I'm going to book a holiday and do what I can to get the holiday. They're all challenges if you put it in the right context to yourself. Challenge yourself is the key. Make it a challenge. It could be right down to a basics of I'm not going to eat a packet of crisps, right up to I'm going to challenge myself to be fucking, you know, CEO of the organisation. But make sure that your fucking ambition, because I could be talking to any level of person right now, make sure that it is achievable, manageable, and has a success rate. They're the three things you need to make sure it's got. If it hasn't got those, then there's no point. It's not a challenge. It's an impossible challenge. So it is a challenge, but it's impossible. So there's no point in it. It's fucking pointless. You're wasting your time. So this is where I talk about challenges can be brought across your whole day, week, hour. I'm going to challenge myself to drink a litre of water today. That might be your challenge. Oh, that felt fucking amazing. Shit, I'm going to do it tomorrow. Oh, guess what? I've been doing it for 3 months now. Oh, guess what? It's a learned behaviour habit. Oh my God, I do it all the time now without even thinking about it. You know what I mean? It's a fucking circle. It comes round. It all helps. Here I am 9 months and the circle's coming back round. Because that's what it's like. When you do the right things, the fucking jigsaw completes. It's not rocket. Well, it is rocket science because we don't do it enough. But Christ alive, it's there for you. It's in the fucking, it's in the flesh and blood on how to do it. So start it. Get those challenges out. Follow the map. Follow the tree. Get the branches. Do it. That's what it's about. It's not about the bullshit. We talk about other topics as we go along, but this is the foundation of it. The crux. So get involved. Anyway, that was a passionate plea there, and I've enjoyed this podcast. Actually, it's been very good. I've enjoyed it. So thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed my passion, my je ne sais quoi. Hope you enjoyed it. But please take care and look after yourself, and take on some tips. Now's the time to make that change. Now's the time. I'm only 9 months in, and, you know, like I said, tablets go and I'm starting again, but I'm just going to keep rebuilding. It's a constant battle. You know, keep looking after yourself, but keep at it. Get it a routine habit. Don't stop it. Don't stop it. And don't stop it when you feel good, because you feel good because you didn't stop it. Okay? It's all good. You got this. I'll speak to you guys soon. Take care.